Thing get to going.
30 seconds.
All righty.
Focus up on it's supposed to. You got your headphones in? Because it's probably going to my earbuds. 20 seconds.
Do we think we need to pull that door up? Yeah.
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Flying high above A.W. Mumford Stadium. We are here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Guess what? It is that time of the year. It is football, and nobody loves football better than the Jaguar Nation. And we are right here in A.W. Mumford Stadium in the field house at the press box, matter of fact. And here we are. I'm Perry White on the Yard Network. Glad you guys are able to tune in with us. Guess what? I got the man himself, the offensive coordinator, Mark Frederick. What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Good to have you with me.
Glad to be here.
It's that time of the year.
Oh yeah.
You come in from Prairie View. A lot of people don't know. You initially was going to join this staff when Coach Eric Dooley came in, but instead you went back. You were going to come in as the wide receiver coach, but you had an opportunity to go back at Prairie View and become the offensive coordinator. Last year, Prairie View made it to the SWAC championship, and you guys took on Florida A&M. But then the opportunity presented itself for you to come on back home and ultimately take on the offensive coordinator position right here at Southern University. For you, what has that road has been like for you as you continue to work up through your career?
It's a blessing, man. I didn't have an opportunity to coach here before. I went off. I coached at a couple other places. Now I get the chance to come back home and be the OC, and it's a blessing, man.
You're talking about the blessing last year at Prairie View. Talk about some of the things when you were able to instill your system and put your system in place at Prairie View. What made that successful? Trayvon Conley was your quarterback, and finding success to be able to get Prairie View in a position to make it to a SWAC championship.
You know what, man? It's funny. It's a quarterback-friendly offense. Once the guys learn the system, they'll flourish in it. And having that chance to coach Trayvon and get Prairie View, to a SWAC championship, that was a huge accomplishment. To be at a school like that only been to 3, and I was a part of 2 of them. So that was a huge accomplishment. Now I want to come home and get the same results. Just want to win it this time.
Listen, I got a couple of my partners that's some PV alums, man, and they was excited about getting to that championship. I went the year that they took on Jackson State up in Jackson, Mississippi, and then to see you guys last year against Florida A&M, man, it was a monsoon out there. For coaching, how do you make adjustments for weather, especially when you're dealing with stuff like that, and when you're talking about a quarterback that wants to probably pass the ball to be able to adjust on the fly?
The good thing about it is, you get to practice in some of those conditions, so that'll have you prepared for the game. You don't just run inside because it rained. You got to practice in it sometime. And the good thing about it, we had a chance to practice in some rain leading up to that game, and we had a chance to have some wet balls and stuff. And you know what? I think we had a good game plan. We just came up a little short.
Now you transition, you're here at Southern University, man, back home. For the people out there who may not know what your offense instills and what it is, talk about your offense and what are you looking to run?
Well, to be honest with you, everybody think, hey, your offense is a run-first deal. Actually, we take whatever the defense gives us. Just fortunate, we had a great offensive line and some good running backs at Prairie View. So if you give us the run, we average like 6 yards a carry on first down. So why not run the ball? But if you give us the pass, we're going to take the pass. If you give us the run, we're going to take the run. We're going to be a balanced offense. We're going to do whatever we have to do to win the game.
You look at Southern. Now, let's talk about the personnel. Last year, a lot of people, including myself, were critical of Southern's offense. Eric Dooley was also the offensive coordinator as well as the head coach. We saw struggle from the quarterback position, Harold Blood and then Bashawn McCray the year before. It didn't quite seem like it was gelling and going in the right direction as the season progressed. For you, when you look at the personnel that's coming back, Noah Biden, the quarterback, seems to be the guy that's the leader right now because of his seniority, has the SWAC hours. You look at the running back position, a guy, Kobe Dillon, who's been around the block a while as a leader and focus. But then you look at the offensive line, the tight end position, and the wide receivers. For you, go through each one of those positions, give people an idea of some of those names of some guys that can turn some heads and maybe be new to their household.
All right, we'll start with the quarterback spot. Everybody know about Noah. Transferred in. He has the most playing time out of the three. But I like the room. I like Noah. I like T-Set, and I like Jalen Woods. All three of those guys are competing. T-Set had a few issues early, but now he's practicing. He should get to go today. I'm not sure how much, but that's a strong competition in that room. Noah may have the edge just off of playing in the SWAC already, but I like the competition. I think the more they learn and the more opportunity that those young guys get, the more pressure they putting on him. Talk about the offensive line. Cam Foster playing left tackle right now, and Trask at the center. Those are the two veteran guys coming back. We brought in some pieces mid-year, but a lot of the depth up front is not here yet. So we're going to shore that up. We're going to have a great O-line. We got a great O-line coach. And talk about the running backs. That's a stable. I get to coach the running backs. Yeah, man, that's a stable. So I'm very excited for that room. The tight end room, they're coming along. We got two guys there. You'll see them today. I love what they're bringing, a physical standpoint and the pass catching ability. So the wide receiver room, you got Kirkwood back. You got Chandler Whitfield. You got Darren Morris, you got those guys. So it's going to be exciting, man. We'll add a few pieces, but for the most part, the team is here that you'll see in the fall.
You're talking about a guy like Kendrick Grimes. Then you have a Kobe Dillon to complement him. Braylon Morgan is another guy that's in the mix. When you're looking at that running back room and you say that's your room right there, what are you looking for out of your running backs here?
Number one, look, I tell them all the time, if you couldn't play running back, you wouldn't be playing running back. So I know you can run the football. But the number one thing is no turnovers, protect the quarterback, and be able to catch out of the backfield. The running is natural, so that's going to be easy. That's going to be fun to watch. All of those guys possess different attributes, and they just add to their room. So you don't have a 1-2 punch. You got a 1-2-3-4 punch. So it's going to be fun to watch.
And what's interesting, Kobe Dillon, a former high school quarterback, transitioned over to being a running back. Any possibility of seeing some packages, maybe Wildcat or anything with him?
Hey, we're gonna mix it up. Trust me, we're gonna mix it up. Had a chance to recruit him out of Frederick High School. Then he went on to Hines Community College. And now, look, I get a chance to coach him anyway. So we got some stuff in store.
And I got to go back to it to talk about the quarterback position, because that's going to be the number one position Jaguar fans are going to be talking about. And you talked about the local kid from right here, T-Set from Scotlandville. A lot of people like his skill set and his athletic ability, but then you can't count out Jalen Woods coming out of Georgia, and then Noah Biden just having those SWAC hours. When you look at those guys, what skill set does all of those three of those quarterbacks have that separate each other, that makes them different?
I don't want to say one thing about one and not the other.
Okay.
They all three have their own very unique way of getting the job done, if that makes sense. Noah, experienced, a little older, probably a stronger arm. You got Jalen Woods, very smart. Some would say a pocket passer, not very fast and flashy, but he gets the job done. T-Set, I would say, for the modern day quarterback, what everybody talks about, a dual threat guy, that's what T-Set possessed. But all three of them got their own unique way of getting the job done, and I love it.
You know, that's interesting because you see the game, how it has evolved more so than that pocket passing quarterback, where you see a lot of dual threat quarterbacks, especially here in this league, in the SWAC, man. You know, before I get ready to let you go, any message out there to the Jaguar Nation about you coming home first year here as offensive coordinator at Southern, and just to get them riled up to be excited about some Southern University football?
It's going to be an exciting offense. We're going to score some points. And, they say offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. So I got to do my part. I think we got some good pieces in place, and I hope to see y'all in the stadium and watch this offense flourish.
It's my man, Mark Frederick, offensive coordinator. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to continue the conversation and talk more football. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back with more On the Yard Network. right here on the campus, on the bluff of the mighty Mississippi River. You see how beautiful Southern University campus is, the river, the longest river in the United States, Mississippi River, running right there at the front door of the campus of Southern University. We're live here at A.W. Mumford Stadium in the press box. And listen, it is spring football. It is the most wonderful time of the year because the Jaguar Nation loves its football pretty much more than any other school in this conference and pretty much in this state. And I got Pete Richardson here, legendary Hall of Fame Southern University football coach, Winston-Salem before Southern University, and then my guy right here in the middle, Coach Henry Miller, defensive coordinator here at Southern University. We're going to continue the conversation. First of all, welcome, guys. I'm glad to have you in.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, good to have you guys. And Coach Miller, I'm going to start with you. You know, having this defense under your helm, you came here from Prairie View with Coach Dooley. And last year, listen, I think all of the Jaguar fans and Coach, you calling the game last year, I think you have to say defense kept us in a lot of games when we were going 3 and out and was struggling on offense. But for you, just talk about your journey as a defensive coordinator and get into that position.
Well, of course, you know, started right here under Coach Richardson. He taught us the game. You know, not only me, but a lot of other coaches that move on to better things. You know, so it started with him. It started by, you know, when we was under his tutoring, he showed us the most important thing, how to make adjustments. Mm-hmm. You know, and I remember that. I remember he saying that sometimes you got to take that game plan and throw it away, and you got to make adjustments. So, you know, when I had the opportunity to be a defensive coordinator, that's one thing that I remember. Because sometimes you can have a game plan, but that game plan don't go accordingly. So you got to be able to make adjustments, and then the defense have to be able to trust your adjustment so you continue to be successful.
Along your journey, you were at UAPB. Now, I was around at UAPB, and a couple of my partners played for you. Remember Jared Dorn, yes. Stuart Franks, yes. Ladarius, Anthony, yes. A lot of those guys, man. And so, and that team went and played for a SWAC championship in 2006 as they took on Alabama A&M. But you having that journey, you had some good guys under you, man, yes. And then continue to move forward. For you, what has that journey been like as you've been able to become a defensive coordinator?
Well, it gives you an opportunity to move on your own. Mm-hmm. You know, like your parents seen you on your way. I gave you all you can give. Now you got to go on and make your way. So when I left Southern, I had enough tools to go on to show those guys, all you guys that you didn't mention, mm-hmm. how to become winners.
Coach Muller, with the individuals you lost off the last year football team, you had an outstanding defense, and of course with that transfer portal thing, how is that you think going to affect you coming in this year?
Well, of course, you know, we have to use the transfer portal. We have to go in and get experienced guys, veteran guys, bigger guys, and we know that. So some of the players that we lost last year, we replaced them with some of those guys. Now, unfortunately, you won't see those guys play today, but they are here. They'll be here in June.
You talk about the transfer portal, and that's a whirlwind. It's a whole new game. And, Coach, for you, I got to ask that question when you talk about the transfer portal. It was different during your time. Guys pretty much had to sit out, wait on eligibility for the next year, and didn't have that immediate playing time. Do you think you would have been able to survive this day and age with you don't have that dedication for guys like you used to where you had program guys. Guys come in, they see, oh, I may not be able to get that playing time. I'm not trying to sit behind the guy and then I move on.
Well, I don't think so because when I came, you had to be here at least a year before you had the opportunity to play if you transfer in. But I think now with the competition level, I think it's really going to hurt Coach Miller and his organization because you're not going to be able to get to 5-star anyway, but you're going to take a 1-star and in a couple of years you develop into a halfway decent football player. And as soon as you get him, you develop him, and he thinks that he ought to be playing because of competition. He don't want to compete. Then all of a sudden, now he's thrown in there, he's ready to go. So I think it's going to have an effect on the Division I AA programs like Southern University.
I used to like the term iron sharpen iron. And when there was a guy who was before you, who was probably a senior or a junior who had put in his time, through the process, and the younger guy had to come up behind him. You had a chance to practice and train against that guy who made you better. Instead of just saying, I feel like I'm better than him, you actually had to go show it. And that's kind of where we're getting into the world and now where I think it's going to hurt the development of the guys because they're willing to jump off instead of being somewhere and getting that iron to sharpen iron. They're willing to just go wherever they can make it and get it that immediate playing time.
Well, a lot of them don't want to compete. You know, it's a competitive nature, especially on Division I AA, and you see a tremendous difference of some players from a freshman to a sophomore. And a lot of them will make that jump, and a lot of them, because of the programs they're in, expectations change.
Yeah.
So if you're out there competing and you think that you ought to be playing, okay, then you lying down. We'll find out. And I think that's the competition level he has, and I'm quite sure that he's going to be able to go in that portal because of Southern University's program that we have and get some individuals to fill those voids.
And then here go another thing that a lot of people missing. Not only do we lose guys because their time expired, and you took your time, you developed a guy, he started getting these accomplishments, and then a bigger school come and take him. So that's a whole nother story altogether.
Yeah.
Now you got a guy that's supposed to be leading your defense. You hoping, and he ain't even there now. So now you got to go in the transfer portal to get a veteran guy, so you won't fall too far behind at that position. And I'm talking about the secondary, which is very important.
Let's talk about the defense. For people out there, express what is your philosophy on defense and what set defense do you like to run, or are you multi-D?
Well, I'm multiple front, but I'm a 4-2-5 pressure defense, and the pressure is anybody is hot. Anybody can go. I would like to keep as much pressure on the quarterback, 1, 2, 3, let him get the ball out of his hand, in opposed to him standing in there reading the secondary. You know, so of course I'm a 4-2-5 defense. We like to put as much pressure on the offense as possible, and and number one thing is going out there and stopping the run. That's the number one thing.
You talking about stopping the run? That's accounting for the dual threat quarterback these days, which has completely changed the game in terms of having a spy quarterback. You know,
that's right, and that's the most important thing. Pass, run option, RPO. So what we have to do, we have to take away the number one thing. It's like option. Back in the day, when they used to run the triple option, we used to have to take care of the number one thing first, and that's the dive back. So now in that, we got to take care of the running back. We got to take care of the running back first. Stop the running back, and then if it's a dual quarterback, we'll focus on him second.
Okay, with the pressure defense you're talking about having, of course, you must have some pretty decent corners coming back,
Yes,
because
sir.
a lot of times they're locked up man to man and have confidence and leave them out in space like that with that pressure, and you have to get there, but they also have to check.
Yes, and we do have a veteran in Rodney. Rodney Johnson's a 2-year starter. And of course, the corner we lost, he would have been the other 2 or 3 year starter. But then we had a guy that was on the team. He got hurt last year, and then he didn't get himself all the way together. But this spring, he's really coming on. You're talking about Luke Rose. Luke Rose is about a 6'1.5", maybe 6'2" corner from Florida that can run. He's been aggressive right now. He doesn't have the swag hours, but what he's showing that in practice right now that he can get it done. He might not be a starter, but I know I can depend on him. And that's when you got to go into the transfer portal to get you a guy that can start.
let's look at some other positions. You're talking about the secondary, as Coach mentioned. Let's talk about that D-line and work our way over to the linebackers. But that D-line is key because the game is won in the trenches. Talk about your defensive line. I heard a guy like Davin Cotton is looking better than ever.
Man, this is, I think, Devin Cotton, he told me the other day, he said, Coach, this is the best I felt in a long time. And he looked good. He about, 6'3", 285 pounds, and he looked good. The weight is looking good on him. He tried to keep himself slim so he can help with his knees. But right now, last year, he had braces on practice, and this year, he don't have any braces. And of course, when you start talking about D-line, you can't leave out Givens.
Oh, Kelby Givens.
Be honest with you, everything's based on him. He's the motor. He's the thing that gets this defense going. He play with that energy. He play with the motor. So what we had to do, we had to go in and get bigger bodies inside. Mm-hmm. We have the defensive ends. We lost at the defensive tackle spot. We got to replace Jason Dumas. We lost Josh Donald lost about 3 or 4 guys in there. So when you talk about the D-line, yeah, we took a big hit there, but we got some guys there that can play.
And to move on, you're talking about the linebacker position. Those guys are key. What are we looking at as the linebacker position this year?
Now, linebacker, of course, we lost a guy in Campbell, but Derek Williams is still there. And Josh Tate had opportunity to play a lot for us last year. And then we had a guy that we signed, Mike Jones.
Who?
Mike Jones.
I know if you was gonna catch
I
that.
got
See,
it,
Coach
bro.
didn't catch that. He don't come there.
We say that all day. That's why I called out. So, and then, of course, you still need linebackers. We need physical guys. First thing, when we lay our hat on defense, we want to play smart, we want to play fast, we want to play physical. So in order for us to play physical, we need physical type guys. And we still got those linebackers that we're looking for that we think that we need to be a little bit more physical. And that a couple of guys are here today watching the game on a visit.
Well, it's good to have you, Coach. Before we get ready to let you go, what is a message out there you have for the Jaguar Nation, anybody that's watching, in terms of Southern University's defense and getting them ready for this football season?
I tell you what, we got a new thing we pushing. We call it going from G to G. That's going from good to great, because we know that good is not good enough. So the only way we can get to where we want to be, we got to be great. So come be great with us, Jaguar Nation.
I like that because, the fans still talk about that dog day defense.
Yes, sir. We got to get back there.
They can't. They don't let it go, and it's his fault.
The GOAT. It's his fault. The GOAT. He put me pressure all on me. Right here, the GOAT.
Well, you look at it, we had some outstanding players. Of course, those players had some outstanding coaches, and they did a good job of preparation, getting those kids ready, and of course, they developed them a great deal over a period of 3 or 4 years because a lot of them didn't believe that they could get one.
That's right.
And I think once you instill that confidence in them, I thought Miller's doing the same thing, they're going to be good on defense.
Well, Coach, thank you for joining in with us, man. And it's good to be able to have that conversation. I hope people at home got a better chance to get to know you as the defensive coordinator. We're going to get ready to take a break. We're going to keep this thing rolling, so y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. More On the Yard Network, all right? no campus that I believe around the country or in the swag that is more beautiful than Southern University. You see the letters and you see the Jaguars, and when you're coming into this campus, everybody passes the mound of Southern University. And nothing but pride. You can feel the excitement once you touch this campus. And the excitement is here today as we're on the campus for the Southern University spring game. Welcome back, everybody, to the pregame show. Glad to have you guys with us. Got my guy, legendary coach, Hall of Fame, Pete Richardson. And right here in the middle, Coach Everett. Coach, it's good to have you here with us.
Pleasure to be here.
You coaching the special teams as well as the defensive ends. You've had a journey as a coach, being at Grambling as the defensive coordinator, was at Texas Southern last year, and now here on the Bluff at Southern University. For you, just an introduction to some of the fans and the Jaguar Nation out there that may not know you, give us a little background about yourself.
A native Texan, lived in Sweetwater, Texas, born and raised there. Went to Rice University. Played a little briefly after that in the USFL, and then got into coaching and worked my way around. Became a head coach at Blinn Junior College for a minute, University of New Mexico, and then worked my way here in the state of Louisiana. I was at UL Monroe, and then from Monroe to Grambling, and from Grambling back to Houston, and Houston here.
Now, weren't you the first African-American coach in the Texas Junior College League?
I definitely was.
Mm-hmm. So that's a big come. Then you said Rice University. Listen, ain't nobody just walking in to go to school at Rice University, okay?
Well, you know, my parents are educators, and they did a great job with us, and so my two brothers and I. So it was a blessing.
Well, excuse me for saying ain't, but I just had to use that one. A beautiful campus. I've seen it right there in Houston near the medical corridor, man. And now to have you here. And a lot of people, they may not remember, during those years with Broderick Fobbs, and you guys had Devontae Kincaid, and Jaguar fans, I know you remember the play when Willie Quinn got brought down by the pinky finger by the Grambling defender. You know who that guy's coach was? It was him right there. And you guys went back-to-back SWAC champions.
Correct.
You had an opportunity to go to the Celebration Bowl, and so far, outside of Florida A&M, was the only other school to be able to win the Celebration Bowl. What was that experience like? Because the Jaguar Nation is waiting on the Celebration Bowl. Listen.
It was an unbelievable experience for our team and for the players and for the coaches and our families. It was an unbelievable experience, and my family got a chance to experience that, but one of the things that I was able to introduce them to was to the Bayou Classic. Mm-hmm. My family, you know, good old West Texas country people had never had an opportunity to be in a setting where there were 60, 70,000 African Americans that operated and run and conducted a big time game in that atmosphere. And so once my father, when he was living, had an opportunity to come, he absolutely loved it, and so he made it a habit of coming back every year.
You talk about the Bayou Classic. That's Mr. Bayou Classic right there.
Yeah, so being exposed to this environment. So,
Coach, you're talking about the defensive line. I think you have two outstanding individuals down there. I think Cotton played a little last year, but he's nowhere close to what he could be, because I thought when he came in, he could be outstanding football player on any level. He got hurt, and he came back last year, played a little. Of course, I think him and Gibbons and on that defensive line is going to pose some challenges for some people this year.
So, Cotton is going to play inside for Coach DeMarcus Miller, and then Gibbons will be outside with me at the defensive ends. And so Gibbons, haven't had a chance to do much with him this spring. He's recovering from post-season surgery, but everything is going really well. He's out there conditioning, and he's back to lifting and running every day, and he looks really, really good.
When did he get hurt last year?
I believe it was the end of the season. I think he had some kind of rehabilitative type surgery done at the end of the season. So, but he's good. He's ready to go. He's itching to get out there. He's there every day in meetings with us. And so it'll be exciting to have him back on the field to play.
Like I say, I think he's an outstanding player, and I think he shows that leadership. And I think that with Cotton, they say he's about halfway sound now, so you ought to be pretty kind of dominant up there on that front.
Yep, we've got some players. We're looking for one or two more to kind of complete that look. But there are a number of other guys this spring that have got an opportunity to coach. Cam Plummer has done a good job this summer. This spring, coaching him and bringing him along. Darius Harry at the opposite end, Jelani Davis, and a young player named Lance Joseph is a really good player that some of those guys get an opportunity to come along and develop him and have looked really good this spring, and you get an opportunity to see them today.
You're talking about that defensive end position. Of course, we had a great one in Jordan Lewis, who was a Buck Buchanan Award winner. He was the first SWAC player to actually win it, and now we've had more than one. Florida A&M had one as well. But how important is it to present pressure on the outside on opposing offenses for you guys?
It's important. You know, the first thing those guys have got to be able to do is they got to be able to contain the edges for us, whether it's in the run game or, as you say, rushing passers in the pass game. But they've got to be not only be pass rushers, they've got to be run stoppers. And for us, being able to stop the run is the preeminent thing. And once we can, you know, control offenses, first down, second down, running the ball, then we can pin our ears back, so to speak, and then get after the quarterback on those second and third downs, those second and long and third down situations. And so having guys that can get after the quarterback and do a good job of rushing him and pressing him, we pride ourselves on hitting him as many times as we possibly can. And that's what we want to be able to do, because we know it takes a toll on the quarterback position. The more that you get after him and hit him and disrupt his thought process, want to make him have to figure out what's going on after the ball is snapped. And so as much as we can do that to him and disrupt his game, we feel like that gives us an advantage defensively.
You got to be athletic as well, coming off that edge.
No question.
With some speed. What do you look for when you're recruiting a guy from the defensive end? And then when you look around the conference, typically what is the SWAC prototype type of guy that you look at, that you see week in and week out coming from the DN position?
I don't know that there's any prototype look. I think what you try to find is you try to find players that, number one, have the tools that you want. And I'm looking for guys that, number one, that are efficient in their play, or they have the athletic ability to be really good players. And I want guys that think highly of themselves, because I'm going to coach them to be grown men. And as a player playing this game, you got to be a grown man to be able to handle and manage the everyday things that go along with the game. And so then take that athletic ability and try to make them be the most efficient player that I can possibly get them, so that no wasted motions, smooth movements, know how to use their hands well, their footwork is clean, and they're able to get on and get off blocks and have a decent pass rush game beyond just the physical stuff. And so once a guy can do those kind of things, then we can add the pressure packages and all those other things to put them in a position to be able to make, you know, play after play after play. And so, but looking for kids that are talented enough to have a little athletic ability, that can run, know how to use their hands well, have decent footwork, and all those other things we can develop.
Now, this is the question I got to ask, because we know football are 3 phases, but a lot of people only pay attention to 2, offense and defense.
Correct.
Special teams is key. And special teams can flip a game. Special teams can push a team up with their back up against the wall. Or special teams can put a team in position for a game-winning drive. Now that you're taking over with the special teams coordinator position, of course, Coach Graves, that was his baby, right? Now you get a chance to have it. What is your philosophy? What are you looking at for special teams? And what's your idea of that when you talk about the kicking game and the return game?
So being a defensive guy, you probably never heard one say this, but our ultimate goal is to put the offense in position to be able to score points. And so that's what our job is. And from a special team standpoint, we want to make sure that we're putting them in the best position they can possibly be in. So whether it's fair catching a ball instead of trying to bring a high deep kick out, fair catching, getting the ball on 25. If we have an opportunity to bring one out, great. Catching all the punts, doing a great job of protecting them and trying to get a first down on each and every one of those opportunities, so that we're giving an offense the best opportunity to be able to score points. Flipping the field in the kicking game, trying to get us out of difficult situations by giving an offense an advantage. That's our goal, special teams wise, and not putting the defense in a situation where they're backed up and got to play a lot of short yardage stuff. So if we can do those kind of things, manage the ball well, not turn the ball over, and then force the opponent to be able to give us some of those kinds of things and put the offense in great field position. That's what we're trying to do.
I think on the special teams aspect, you're right as far as having a great return man. I think that last year it was really effective returning, getting great field position. Do you have that man coming back again this year?
We have a couple of guys that we're taking a look at that we think got a chance. Coach Richardson, Coach Graves handles the return guys. So I'm still trying to learn names, so you're putting me on the spot there.
I'm going to tell you, I saw a lot of the games last year, and you have an outstanding return guy, punt return guy, especially once he gets his hands on He's effective on catching the ball, but he's a smart player. I think, and the players believe in him, and he can make plays for you.
So one of the things that I try to make the players on special teams understand, particularly in the punt return game and the kickoff return game, is number one, that first off, the guy that's catching the ball has got to catch the ball. If the guy catching the ball does a great job of catching the ball and going where he's supposed to go, the guys that are blocking for him, all of a sudden they get a new sense of loyalty and respect, because now they know that it's imminent that they do their job and do their job well. Because if he's going to catch it and go where he's supposed to go, then they better get their block. And if they get their blocks, they know you got a guy that can take the ball and put it in the end zone or flip the field. And so having a guy that has those capabilities and can do those kind of things, it puts an added respect in their mind in terms of as protecting him and giving him great position. And so those are things that I try to emphasize to them, and so help those guys understand. And the back end guys, hey man, catch the ball. If you'll catch the ball and not let it hit the ground, and then that gives us an opportunity to set stuff up. And so I'm looking forward to being able to.
Yeah, I think
get
that
going.
special teams can flip the field, and especially if you got a return guy. But up front, I tell the guys, used to tell them, if you have to hit a guy in the back, let him go.
So nowadays, there's all new kinds of things that we do, and there's one of the techniques that we use to teach the guys how to get a block without hitting a guy in the back. There are ways now, because return guys can help set up a guy to get a block, and sometimes it's not the block, but it's being able to cut him off.
Right.
If you can get in position to cut him off without hitting him in the back, you still get the same results. And so it's teaching the players to be smart about those kind of things. But it also has to be a really good return guy that has the sense to be able to set his blockers up for him. And then those guys, like I said, when you got a guy that you know that's going to catch it, is going to go where he's supposed to go, then those guys have a new sense of loyalty, and they work really, really hard to do the right things for him, to put him in position for him to make plays.
Yeah, because I'm a high school football official, and one of the things that we really crack down on is the crackback block and the blindside block. Because now when you look at special teams, and I think you even see it with the NFL, starting to look more into player safety in that return game, making sure that guys are safe, because it's reckless football on the return game when you just got guys running down. What's your thoughts as you start to see the game starting to take a safer approach in the return game? Are you still more old school football, or do you understand and kind of realize what's going on?
I understand the need for player safety, and it is important. Kickoff coverage is probably the one deal that's going to change dramatically, and the NFL is already talking about adopting the XFL's approach to kickoff cover. And so at some point, that's going to obviously trickle down to the college game. How much of it will obviously do, is yet to be seen, but I'm sure it will have some kind of effect on us. And I think they just want to get away from, number one, players doubling and tripling a guy running full speed ahead. Takes away the head-to-head contact. And so now you can only single block. And we try to teach our guys how to get in position and do a great job with their hands and bodies, so we don't necessarily have to have all that unnecessary contact, but at the same time be able to get the job done. So I love the old school brand of the game, but the ultimate reality is player safety.
Yeah.
And we got to be able to keep our players safe and keep the game alive by being smart about how we play the game. And so those changes are necessary.
And I got to ask, because now we're talking about kicking the ball, punting, field goals. For you, what are you looking for in your punters and your field goal kickers? And tell us some of the guys that you have that's out there that we're going to see today.
So Josh Griffin is back as a kicker, did a really good job. Matter of fact, he iced a game against us when I was at Texas Southern.
Sent this place in a frenzy, didn't it?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and so he's back and doing a really good job this spring, kicking the ball for us and kicking off, doing a little bit of punting. And we're still working on the punt game. Coach Graves is still working on trying to make sure that we can replace him. Have a young man in here trying to learn the game, but he's a young guy, still trying to figure his way. Dominguez. So Braxton Blackwell is our snapper, and he's supposedly one of the best, and he's done a good job looking at his op times. His op times are really, really good.
And that's an important position.
Because that helps us be able to get out and cover. If we can get the ball off in an effective time, so that our protection has the ability to be able to get out, we can spend less time on protection. So having those two guys back, 2/3 of the pieces of what we need, and we're working on that third piece throughout the rest of the summer.
Well, Coach, I want to say thank you for coming. And y'all, look, put your hands up, man. This dude, look. Coach laughed at me when he came out. I said he shook my hand. It was like two hands. I said, man, Golly, man, thank you for coming in, Coach Todd, man. It's a pleasure. I remember when you were at Grambling, man, so to have you here on the Bluff, man, it's good to have you. I hope you have a good time here. And anything out there for the Jaguar Nation you want to say one last word or anything?
Man, I'm just happy to be here. My wife and my youngest daughter are here today to come, and I'm just excited by being able. We've heard so much about the Bluff, but being able to actually take them around the other side of campus and see that this place sits on a bluff overlooking the Mississippi River.
It's a beautiful view. Make sure you get you some etouffee, jambalaya, crawfish. That's ultimately what kept him here. They fed him, and look, he didn't go nowhere. So thank you, Coach, for coming, man. It is good to have a conversation with you, man. Appreciate you.
Pleasure.
All right, everybody, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. More of On the Yard Network.
Good luck now.
The beautiful campus of Southern University sitting right here on the bluffs of the mighty Mississippi in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Jaguar Nation is ecstatic because there's a new day in Baton Rouge on the campus, and we're talking about football. It's Southern University spring football today, and we joined here with the legendary Coach Pete Richardson and the new guy, the head guy, Coach Terrence Graves. It's yours, baby. This is you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Perry White. Good to have you guys back, man. And it's spring football here on the Bluff. We're right here at A.W. Mumford Stadium. And look, the entire Jaguar Nation is looking forward to moving forward this season. And, you know, I always say Coach Richardson treated the Jaguar Nation like the dad that spoiled the kids. When the kids wanted whatever they wanted, he gave it to them. And this place loves championships. And there's a standard of excellence that people want when it comes to Southern University Jaguar football. And for you, Coach Graves, getting the opportunity to get that top seat here at Southern, and you've been around a long time. You know the Jaguar Nation very well. You know this campus very well. How do you manage that expectation when you got fans always talking to you constantly about championships, and for you as a coach just wanting to coach football?
Well, it's really not that difficult. You know, you understand what what Southern University is and what their expectations are. And when you know that, and you've been around it, I've been around here at Southern University for a total of 18 years, so I understand that. And then, you know, having to play and work under Coach Richardson, being a part of the dominance, so you know the expectations. So it doesn't, it really doesn't bother me. I know the lay of the land. I know what the expectations are. I know the passion that the fan base has, and so a lot of places don't have that. So I welcome that.
Talk about you guys' relationship. It's a long relationship. I mean, he's known you from a young guy to where you are now as a head coach, and to consider he was once the head coach, and now you get to sit in this head seat to have you two guys here. What has that relationship been like for you guys over the countless years?
Well, it's been a blessing. Coach, I found out years later, I didn't know at the time, but Coach actually recruited me out of high school. And then I wound up going to Wake Forest in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And after my freshman year, I wound up transferring to Winston-Salem State and played for Coach Richardson for 3 years. And we won 2 of 3 championships, 2 out of 3 championships there at Winston. And then after my senior year, Coach came down to Baton Rouge and took the Southern job. And then after I spent a year up there coaching and graduated, Coach brought me down here as a GA, and then the fall semester of '94, and then in spring of '95, I was the linebackers coach, and the rest is history. So I've been knowing Coach and being a part of Coach's life, and him a part of my life for a long time, and it's been a blessing because you know, Coach is like a second father to me. So you know, he's been a big influence on my career and my life as a man. So I'm grateful for him.
Coach, what you see in him?
Well, I think that he understands what Southern University is all about. Because when I came down, he came down to SU with me, and he understands that what it takes. And I think that by talking to his assistant coaches that he corralled around him, they are some outstanding people, and they understand one thing, teaching the fundamentals of the game, but also the idea that being competitive, but you have to play smart. And I think that's the thing that he's learned, and of course he came from good heritage as far as football, and he understands the game.
We got you Winston-Salem guys up in the house today. Let me ask you this, man. You know, you get this opportunity. Your philosophy for people out there to get to know Coach Graves and his philosophy, you got this. This is yours. What is your philosophy when you look at what a Coach Terrence Graves football team that you want it to look like?
Well, Coach Terrence Graves' football team is going to be a team that's, number one, discipline, and that's on and off the field in the community. And then we're going to be physical. We're gonna play hard, and we're gonna play until the last seconds are gone off the clock, and we're gonna play to win. It's not rocket science. It's no special formula to it. I learned it as a youngster. Coach embedded it in me at Winston-Salem State, and then we refined it here at Southern and some other places. So that's what it's gonna be. We're gonna be fun. We're gonna have a good time, and that's basically. That's how I am as a person, and that's how we're going to be as a football program.
You look at this program, and you brought in some coaches, but, you know, the storyline for me is having Coach Willie Titan, who's a SWAC legend, coming from Mississippi Valley State, satellite Titan, as they call him, and Fred McNair, former head coach at Alcorn State. And for you to go out and you have those guys, right? What is that like to have those former guys here, and as well as Coach Todd, as he coached in the junior college league as well?
Well, it's great. Relationships matter. So I've been knowing Coach Todd. He and I are fraternity brothers. I've been knowing him for a long time. When I was coaching here at Southern, he was at Mississippi Valley, and then when I went to Mississippi Valley, we worked together. There, he was in administration. So we've been knowing one another for a long time. I've been knowing Coach McNair for a long time. He and I, of course, recruited Mississippi to junior colleges and the state of Mississippi there, and we've competed against one another for a long time. And of course, Coach Todd was my defensive coordinator when I was up north. I was the linebacker special teams coordinator up there, and Coach Todd was the DC. So we've been knowing one another for about 10 years now. So to have that type of experience, that type of pedigree, championship pedigree from those guys, it only can help you, makes you better. And it helps me as a coach. It helps the players, because you always want to give your players the best leaders, because they're great men, more importantly than just great coaches. So you want to give them, the players, greatness so that they can achieve greatness.
Coach, let's look at the schedule. I thought that with Thune Cookman and Pham coming to the conference, being able to play against the best of the best, but yet the travel aspect of it. You know, as far as when you look at it, you go to Florida and you come back and you go right back down there again. I know that's got to be a concern of a coach, taking that travel like that week in and week out.
Yeah, Coach, it's going to be daunting. You know, we're going to have to really be strategic in how we practice and how we prepare. And, of course, we're going to have to make sure that travel-wise that we do those things that are advantageous for those guys to get down there and get acclimated to play the game. I took a page out of your book when we were here before. We're going to leave early enough so those guys can get there and get acclimated and rested, because we can't afford to go take those types of trips to the day before and then expect to be our best on game day. So strategically, we'll get out of here early enough to get down there and get acclimated and get ready to go, because you know the schedule was made before I got in the seat, and as you say, you got to play those games. So we're gonna prepare and approach it that way.
And I got to ask, because he brought up the schedule, 3 Louisiana teams, Grambling, Nichols, and McNeese. How important is that, especially all on the FCS level? And I have this conversation all the time with people, especially with those non-conference opponents, because these day and age, they are the direct reflection of what you're recruiting against when you're looking at local guys in Louisiana with the talent that are looking to where they want to go. And at one time, you could get a lot of those guys at the Southern and Gramblers, but the options are out there. What is that like for you when you prep and get ready to take on those in-state teams?
Well, the preparation is to win the game.
No doubt.
So that's first and foremost. Of course, you want to win the games because that gives you an edge in recruiting, because you're playing against not only in-state schools but regional schools. So you want to basically go out and win those games, so that not only that you help the program, but then it also puts the conference in a better light, because when you're playing non-conference games, because the masses tend to look at rankings based on the regional games and non-conference opponents. So we understand that, and that's something that we're going to definitely prepare to work to be successful in those games.
What are you looking for from your team today in this spring game? When the fans come into the stands and they're watching this, what does Terrence Graves want to see once there's all that final whistle is blown and you say, huddle up, guys? What do you want to see from this team as you wrap it up?
Well, the same thing that I said at the beginning of spring ball. You know, this is going to be a great environment. It's going to be great for the players. But at the end of the day, our thing is to come out with no major injuries. And we want to find out who can execute what we're doing in all phases of the game. That's what the spring is about. It's not about going out there beating guys up and you know, putting on a whole lot of window dressing. We want to, you know, we got a brand new offensive coordinator and a staff in. So I want to see how the offense has learned and retained what we're putting in. Coach Miller's put some wrinkles in on defense. I want to see how those guys retain those things and execute. And then same thing with the kicking game with Coach Todd. So at the end of the day, we want everybody to have a great understanding of what we're doing, offense and defense and special teams, because if we do that, then that gives us a leg up going into the fall.
You guys are Bayou Classic legends, right? I just can't see it. The 90s, I grew up watching this guy right here yell, fuss, and do it and win plenty of games. And then you come in and you set something that we thought we'd never see. Have the distinct honor to win the Bayou Classic at both the school up north and right here at Southern. How important, and I got to ask both you guys, when it comes to the Bayou Classic and the presence that it has, not just here regionally, not just nationally, but globally, when you were able to put 2 HBCUs in Southern and Grambling on that stage with the whole world watching. And let me tell you a story for me. The Bayou Classic is the reason I even came to Southern. My uncle went to Grambling, so one Thanksgiving, we were too young. They didn't want us to go to the Bayou. You know, when you're young, y'all stay home. It's grown folks. I finally was of age. I went to the Bayou Classic. I want to say it was in 2000. That was the year the 2-point conversion was returned back. Listen, 70,000 people. The place erupted. Southern won the game. it was a lasting effect. I came back, I talked about Southern nonstop. They was like, bruh, what happened to you down there? That's how important that game was for me and how impactful. And that's why I'm so blessed. And people don't realize I'm so appreciative. I never thought I'd be able to sit here with the Southern head coach and sitting here with Pete Richardson and being able to have this conversation. But the Bayou Classic, that was my perspective. But for you guys and seeing the impact that you had, how important is that?
Well, I think it's an important game for black college football. I think when you look at that game, and you can get anywhere from 50 to 60,000 people into a stadium, and regardless of who wins, a lot of them families, some of them went to Grambling and some of them went to Southern, but then come Saturday afternoon is on. I think you understand that aspect of it.
House divided, huh?
But regardless of who wins the games after, you think it's going to be very competitive. But I think that the players are excited about that, and I think the main thing you have to do during the year is keep them focused away from that game.
Yeah.
You play from game to game. That game is going to come regardless. But then it's going to be on national television. He understands that, and I'm quite sure his team is going to be prepared when they go in.
Yeah, Coach, to piggyback off of Coach, I mean, it's a huge game because it's state rivalry. And so it's the granddaddy of them all. It's a great game for HBCU football, as Coach said, and college football in general because of the storied tradition and the rivalry. And it's important to come out on top. You want to win every chance you go out there. As Coach said, you got to keep them focused because, they'll hear it from everybody about the Bayou Classic. They talking about the Bayou Classic now. We're in spring ball. So so you gotta, that game's gonna come. The Saturday after Thanksgiving, that game's gonna take care of itself. So we gotta focus on the first thing, the precious present, the first game, and when it comes, just like everything else, you gotta be focused, you gotta be disciplined, you gotta make the plays you're supposed to make and come out on top. So it's nothing like it. I love it. Been blessed to be a part of about 26 of them. So it's great. It's a great atmosphere, great game, and great all the way around.
And at Southern here, look, we focus on that Grambling, Homecoming, Jackson, and FAMU, boy. If it don't turn the fans up, nothing more of them games. Let me ask you this before I get ready to let you go. I know you got to get down to the team. The Graves edition. Give the fans and supporters out there the understanding and how they can support and be a part of what you're building here.
Well, the Graves edition is a football fundraiser that we kicked off on National Signing Day, and it's geared to enhance the overall student-athlete experience here at Southern University as it pertains to football. And it's a goal. Our goal is to raise $500,000 by the end of August. And what that'll do is that will help with our nutrition, that will help with education, that will help with professional development, travel, recruiting. A lot of times our fan base is nationwide and they want us to come, all over the country, but it costs. And so all those things are a part of that. This is strictly a football fundraiser. Everything comes to football, facilities, improvements, equipment, all that kind of stuff. That's what this is about. And we need everybody. Like I say it all the time, la-di-da and everybody to reach down in those pockets deep and tell a friend, tell family, friends. We want everybody to give and contribute, and it's tax deductible, and it's also if you work at your employer is into the matching of gifts. They do that as well. It's on the website. You can go on the website, the athletic website, and you'll see the Graves edition. It's all going accounted for in the fundraising in the foundation. And you can actually go, and it's real live time. So if you give $10,000, you can actually go on the website and see that your $10,000 has been given. So there is accountability, and we're looking forward to everybody helping us and giving us what we need, because that will take us to the next level. And we appreciate everybody that's given, and we look forward, and we appreciate everybody that's going to give.
I'm gonna say like they told on Coming to America. You seen Coming to America?
Oh, yeah.
We'll kindly take the Kindnet jingle, but we'd rather have the
There you
Kindnet
go.
fold.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
So, one last word for you to the Jaguar Nation, man, before you get ready to get up out of here.
Well, Jaguar Nation, I'm blessed and honored to be your head football coach here at Southern University. I look forward to today, first and foremost, guys going out doing a great job and looking forward to the season. We appreciate your support today. We appreciate your support coming in the fall, and we look forward to seeing you real soon. Go Jags.
That's the head guy, Coach Terrence Graves. Coach, thank you. I know you got to get down to the field, so appreciate you for taking the time, man, and working with us and making this happen, man. So as always, man, I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get ready to take a break. We'll come back and continue this thing. Y'all stay tuned more on the Yard Network, all right? The beautiful Mississippi River flowing straight through Baton Rouge, and as it comes into Baton Rouge, passes right by the beautiful campus of Southern University. And guess what? It is spring football right here on the campus of Southern University, live coming to you from A.W. Mumford Stadium. It's good to have you guys here with us. I'm Perry White on the Yard Network, having it rolling today for the spring football game. Got Coach Pete Richardson, legendary coach here at Southern University. And right here in the middle of us, Tramel Howard. He's the president of the Southern University Quarterback Club. Tramel, talk to us today. You guys have an event, a fundraising to help the program. Give us some information about that.
Yeah, so thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to sit next to the legend himself and also you with Perry. So
You
we're
can throw
having
legend on me. Yeah.
the legend himself, and you know my boy Perry. But no, so today the Southern University Quarterback Club, we are sponsoring the spring game tailgate fundraiser. We are looking to raise money for the football program. As an entity, that's our job, is to raise money and help the university. And so today, for $25, you can come out, get a boiled meat plate, watch some spring football, and just enjoy the fun fellowship that is Jaguar Nation.
Give people out there that maybe want to become a part of the Southern University Quarterback Club, give them how to become a part and what is the mission of the Quarterback Club.
Yeah, so we were founded back in 1947, literally as an organization to help fulfill the needs or meet unmet needs for the programs, athletic programs across the university. So we have a website at the Southern University Foundation. You can pay membership dues of $150 a year. And the organization is literally that. Like, how can we help elevate the brand that is Southern University? How can we support our athletic programs and our student athletes?
One last thing. You grew up a Southern fan, right?
For sure.
You missed the Mumford. What section y'all in?
Section 9W, row 1 through 5.
Look at it. Right there behind him, coach. You give him a house if the play is wrong, he right there behind. But for you, man, just growing up, and from a fan perspective, being able to grow up and become a fan of Southern University and to love it. And I think a lot of people on the outside, they don't understand because Southern's fan base is very unique. It is different. It's the reason they call it the Jaguar Nation. He spoiled them. I continuously say he spoiled them spoiled them riding. But to grow up and have that affection and love for Southern and now to be a part of this, like you said, it comes full circle. Growing up, being a kid, traveling with the Quarterback Club, and now being the president of the Quarterback Club.
Yeah, I mean, so I grew up under the legendary Pete Richardson. So I was born in 1989, and I've been a season book holder since I was 1 year old. Like, I've been at every single Southern game. I probably haven't, in the last 12 years, I've probably missed one home or an away game. So it's just something that's deeply rooted in who I am as a person. And so to now lead this organization with a mission to elevate Southern University athletics, it's just like really a dream come true. I love this institution. I have a law degree from Southern. I went to Southern Lab, so this is literally deeply rooted in me. And so our organization is here to elevate the brand and the standard that is Southern, continue to be Jaguar ambassadors. We don't just support football, we do all sports. So you'll see us at baseball games, basketball games, traveling with the teams, and just literally to support. If we don't take care of our own, who will? So that's our job, is to take care of this program and this athletic division and elevate Southern.
One last time, give the people a chance to know how to become a part of the Southern University Quarterback Club and where you guys are today for the fundraiser.
Yeah, so we are in Jags Den today for the fundraiser. You can stop by Jags Den, which is the end zone right by the gate where the band enters for the home football games. $25 will get you a boiled meat plate and a drink, fun fellowship, and Jaguar football.
And how can they be a part of it?
How do you be a part of it? So we have a Facebook page at Southern University Quarterback Club, Twitter, SU Quarterback Club, Southern University Foundation website, just search Southern University Quarterback Club. You can join. Membership is $150 year to year. Just come join us and let's celebrate Jaguars.
Well, Tramel Howard, president of the Southern University Quarterback Club, man, thank you for coming in, man, and being able to share that information. We want to push that because if you got a good cause, we want to make sure people understand what that cause is and what you're doing it for. So, man, we appreciate you for coming in.
For sure. Thank you, boss.
All right, let's get ready to take a break. Coach and I are going to close this thing out as we get closer to the countdown to the Southern University spring football game. We'll be right back, guys. The legendary A.W. Mumford won a lot of games here, and because of that, you have to name the stadium after them. They're live here at A.W. Mumford Stadium, home of the Southern University Jaguars. A beautiful stadium, seats 25,000 plus, and guess what? The Jaguar Nation knows how to show up and show out right here. And today, we're here for the Southern University spring football game. I'm Perry White, of course, sitting to my left right here, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Coach Pete Richardson. Coach, as we get down the countdown to the spring game today, we've had an opportunity to talk to all the coaches and get an idea of a philosophy from offense, defense, special teams, as well as Coach Graves. You've seen a lot of these guys grow up, and for you, during your years of coaching, what did you want to see from your team coming into a spring game and coming out of a spring game?
I think the main thing I was concerned about is injuries, because it's going to be real competitive and lose, especially on the offensive and defensive line. You're not very deep at certain spots. And of course, now with that transfer portal, a lot of individuals do not have to set a year before you can transfer. So now you develop some young players, you get them ready to go, and unless you're very competitive, going into this spring game, just getting out of it.
What was your first spring like when you got here? Of course, you turned the table quick and had instant success, but that first spring showing up here, a lot of people was like, who is this guy? A lot of people remember because your Winston-Salem team lost to a Southern up in Shreveport. But then when you got here on campus and started to build that culture, what was that like for you?
Well, you know, my brother was down here. He was in the missions at the time, and I'd been down here a couple times. In coaching convention in New Orleans, I would come through here to see my brother, and I saw what type of faculty they had, what type of alumni, and also the fan base. I think it's second to none. You can go any place in the country when they're excited, and this field here, that's a thing that you want to be a part of. And of course, everybody's looking for the Bayou Classic.
First year head coach Terrence Graves come in, and that's when I'm going back to when you was a first year head coach here. How do you instantly get your culture together? How do you instantly change that locker room? How do you get guys to believe? What is it that you have to do?
Well, I think the main thing you have to do is make an assessment of the personnel that you have. And I think the next thing you do is, of course, it starts off with getting some fine assistant coaches. Everybody's on the same accord. It's not just what Coach Richardson believes, it's what those assistant coaches could convince you the confidence that you need and develop in the next 2 or 3 years. Also, you have to have the idea of being in a program and understanding what football means to Southern University and their alumni. Not only our conference, the SWAC, and of course with FAM and Bethune-Cookman coming in now, it's very competitive. Of course, going back there, you know, we played against those teams anyway, and I played Southern University 2 years before I came down and got the head coaching job because they had a national convention in New Orleans. I came in to see my brother.
Let's talk about, as we look coming up into this season and go back into last season, you called the games on the Jaguar Sports Network for the broadcast. And for you, for that 2023 season with Coach Dooley, for you, what was your assessment of last year's team?
I think last year's team, a lot of times they went through some crisis. I think they started off, and of course, defensively, Miller did an outstanding job, but he lost some key guys up front that hurt him a great deal. And of course, they were going through that transition offensively of who's going to be the quarterback. I think anytime you have that, you're trying to make that assessment of who you want to be quarterback, because the players have to believe in him. And I think going in, it looks like Bolton is going to be the quarterback this year, and I think that that's a good move. So the players understood that he's going to be the leader of this football team, and we're going to follow him.
As we go into 2024, it's going to be a tough season for Southern. When you look at those in-state games, like I say, taking on the McNeese to start the season off. McNeese is always a tough out. You got Nichols on the schedule. And I think what I like even more is having Fred McNair here. I never thought today we would have Coach McNair here on the Bluff, but we're playing Alcorn for homecoming. Doesn't that make that just a little bit more spicier?
Well, I think when you look at this coaching staff that we have here, I think he's did an outstanding job of assembling. Of course, McNair, you know, you talk about Alcorn, you know, right down the street. They come down here and play. They bring their crowd. We go up there. We take ours, and it's very competitive. Of course, you talk about individuals from Mississippi Valley, outstanding Todd, outstanding.
Oh, yeah, Willie Todd.
Those individuals understand the conference, and anytime that you have those type of individuals on your staff, that's coming to Southern University, they understand what type of program that we have here, and now with the legacy, to keep it going.
I gotta ask this question because I know people out there want to know, what is it about Alcorn and Southern University? I mean, what is it about Alcorn that it seems like they always get up for us? If they don't win another game that year, they always get up for the Southern game.
I think when you look at it's right down the street, and a lot of families, some of them go to Alcorn, some of them go here, some go to Grambling, but that game is probably the biggest game of the year. I mean, because of the families involved with that, and they're going to be competitive, of course. They have some outstanding athletes. When you look at, of course, McNair that came through there, he was an outstanding quarterback, and it's very competitive, and our players are excited about having that opportunity to play.
And you look at our rivalry with Florida A&M and Jackson State. The good thing, Florida A&M has now joined the conference. Southern and Florida A&M had the longest non-conference rivalry game in black college football, but now being a member of the SWAC and have a Florida A&M here, how big is it? And I got to ask you, because you took on both those teams a lot. What was that? You know, I want to use the word hatred, because these two fan bases do not like each other at all. When you talk about, you could be in a room with either one of them. You say Southern, it changes the entire mood in the room. And for you as a coach and going on the road to Tallahassee and to Jackson, what was that like for you with those two rivals?
Well, you talk about two outstanding football teams. You know, year in and year out, Alcorn and Grambling and Southern University is going to be very competitive. Like I say, a lot of those families, some of them went to Alcorn, some of them went to Grambling, some of them went to SU.
None of them went to Jackson.
They all.
That's the one we know. None of them went to Jackson. It's like, yeah, we can take some with the Alcorn and Graham. You like, no, nobody went to Jackson.
Nobody went. But I think it's a competitive aspect, and you know, the love of the game. You know, they hate each other for about 5 hours. And I think that's the way it should be. I think that anytime you have that, then the people are excited, and our fan base, and of course to draw the type of coaches that they had respect for Southern University because they came here. And especially with the individual from Alcorn, I think he's an outstanding coach to have an opportunity not to be a head coach and not having the opportunity to be a head coach. I think a lot of HBCs has really overlooked him.
I'm gonna ask you this question because you asked it off the air, and I thought it was a really good question that you asked, talking about the transition of a fan base that is getting older and having to reignite a younger fan base that nowadays more than ever has more distractions than anything else. You know, we've seen a large group of young fans now becoming LSU fans and UL fans, and what at one time, you know, for black people here in the state of Louisiana, Southern, Grambling, of course, Dillard, Xavier. But when you're talking about the football schools, Southern and Grambling, but now these kids have options, Southeastern, Nichols, McNeese, and guess what? They're going to different schools now where their friends are saying that's where we're going. So to reignite a fan base and get a younger fan base in, what is that like? And can you see that happening? Does that seem like that's a tough thing to try to undertake?
I think it's happening with the legacy of Southern University and Grambling, and of course Alcorn in that triad right there. I think a lot of families that went to those schools, and from the time that you're knee high, you understand that if you're going to school, if you're not going to go to those three individual schools, then your dad's going to tell you you're going to have to pay for it. Because most of the families have the heritage of coming through those three schools.
And man, look, let me tell you, it's good to have you here, man. You're still looking good, man. What you do with yourself these days? What's your routine like? What you going fishing, or you're going out for your daily ride? You're going for a walk? What you doing?
Well, I get up and I've been jogging for the past few years, early in the morning, but my knees are starting to affect me. But I still get out and walk a little. But you know, I'm excited about keeping the walking aspect of it, because hey, I'm not a Holmberg soap opera type guy. That ain't none of me.
Former NFL DB at that, so I know you're going to keep it going, man. And for you, man, just to see it come full circle, the Pete Richardson Classic, I can't go without talking about the Pete Richardson Classic. All your years of hard work here on the Bluff, filling this stadium up, bringing championships, winning Bayou Classics, epic matchups with Eddie Robertson, and then ultimately having that opportunity to have a classic, the first home game of the year, named after you, man. What is that like?
Well, you look at it from the aspect you never thought that anything like that could happen. You come to an institution like Southern University, it's probably in the top 3 or 4 in the country as far as not only the football, but you look at the nursing, you look at the engineering, they can compete with anybody. And I think that's a selling point that we had. Academically, we would go into schools and when I first got here, sell those aspects and those individuals that came out to compete with anybody in the country.
And I want to ask this because I always want to ask and talk to you about this. Of course, after so much success, it came to an end. And I had an opportunity to listen to Coach Bobby Bowden when he was at Florida State and when it was kind of coming to an end for him. You know, he said, you know, I looked around, I just didn't feel like I was ready to give it up. But things was changing, the climate was changing, people's attitudes and the environment was changing. For you, when it came to the end of that 09 season and you started to have that transition and that conversation, what was that like once that tenure came to an end here at Southern?
Well, you know, you never thought that you was going to give it up. I think when you get off into coaching, a lot of coaches are ex-athletes that played the game, and a lot of them know, a lot of coaches are not don't watch your soap operas. So it was a process, that transition you had to go through. But you realize that, hey, it's a young man's game.
Yeah.
And I was proud that they brought some of the ex-athletes that was on my staff at that time that came and had an opportunity. Coach Graves that went through the program. They understood what it took. And now it's a matter of not only helping them, but I think the game has changed. You know, it's still blocking and tackling, but no more than anything else is that transfer portal, I think, is going to really have an impact on the HBCs. And unless the faculty and alumni and of course the fan base understand that aspect, they're going to have to dig it up and help Coach Graves and his staff out.
We at A.W. Mumford Stadium, but guess what? Pete Richardson Field. You look down there, man, this your field. Look, I'm looking around, this is you. This is you. This is the house that you have built. You're the second winning all-time coach right behind A.W. Mumford. And I was shocked to find the top 3, A.W. Mumford, Pete Richardson, who's number 3? You know? Dawson Odoms. Coach Odom. So, you know, to have that 3, you guys won games, a lot of games, and have that up there as the top 3 and you right there in it, man. This is a pleasure. I grew up, like I said, watching you, and you and I talk a lot, but just growing up watching you at the Bayou Classic, a lot of those, because Southern got a lot of national televised games, especially during those BET days, being able to showcase his fan base and as well as his good football team. So to be able to sit here with you and have this conversation, man, and give you your roses while you're here, man, and just tell you how proud I am of what you were able to accomplish, and congratulations to everything that you were able to do. And you reignited. You brought a city like Baton Rouge with a large black population, Southern, who built the black middle class in the state of Louisiana. You found a way to bring them together, and you created excitement around here week in and week out that ultimately raised generations of kids that persuaded them to go to college just because of the love that they saw on a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday night, man. So that was huge for what you were able to accomplish and do.
Well, I think I was blessed because I mentioned before we had an outstanding program here. Southern University has a lot to offer any high school athlete coming out, male or female. Mm-hmm. You look at the nursing and the engineering program I mentioned before, they're second to none. And I think those are the selling points, and that's what the parents want to hear. Mm-hmm. They don't want to hear about football when you go and talk about them because they know we can play football. They want to understand whether my son or daughter is going to be able to get it academically, and once they graduate, can they compete in the world? And I think I'm just so proud of some of the athletes that we have, male and female, that come out of the athletic department that can speak well for Southern University.
We're going to get ready to close this thing. Look, big shout out to my boy, Gary Richardson. Y'all can't see him. He right back there, the Edge One production, man. A big shout out to him because, listen, I'm not the technology guy. I could just do this. I could go back and forth with you. But, Coach, you see all them wires and all that stuff?
They do an outstanding job of preparation and getting together, and I think that's the part of the organization and why you're successful. You have people around you, they understand what it takes. I mean, as you talk about the money, that's always going to be an issue, but it's a matter of pride and dignity and confidence and respect. You know they're going to be able to do the job, and when you have those type of people, you're going to be successful.
And we're going to try to figure something out. Garrett and I are going to have we're going to try to figure, me and you need to do something like this more often, because there's a lot I think people want to know and learn and hear from you. And I believe you have that mindset to be able to bestow some wisdom upon us. And I'm one of those, I want to hear some wisdom from a legend, man. So we're going to try to figure out in the future what we can do to try to keep this thing going with you.
Well, I think we can sit out and talk. I think
Yeah.
it's an avenue that, especially now, you can get on not only on the radio but the television set. I think our people are excited about our program. They want to see. You know, they know, like I mentioned, you can play football, but academically, whether if I send my son or daughter up to Southern University, are they going to be able to compete in this world? Because there's a big new world out there, and it's the challenges for everybody. And you want your son or daughter to be able to compete in it.
It's definitely a big new world, because 20 years ago, what Garrett is doing back there, we would have needed a production truck out there. We would need that satellite. We would have needed a team of people, man. So he's back there holding it down. So as always, I got to give him his flowers too, man. I love him. That's my brother from another. That's my boy Garrett. And Coach, thank you for joining me today, man. This was a vision Garrett came up with. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, and boom, look like that. Look, we're here and we're able to get it done. Southern University spring football game is today, 1 o'clock. The countdown is there. You can hear the music in the background. Some of the guys are out there warming up. Want to invite you guys out here. It's free. Come on out to the Bluff. Enjoy yourself. I know we're live right now. Coach Pete Richardson is here. I'm here. We about to go try to find something. Need somebody out there. I know got something out there. Ain't that right, Coach?
Yeah, somebody.
Yeah, it's somebody.
Somebody.
So we're going to go proud the parking lot, the tailgate, the RVs out there. We're going to go over here by the SU Quarterback Club. But I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in and watching, man, because without you guys, this is what we're doing it for. We want to try to do something different doing this pregame show. May do something in the future as we continue to grow. But most of all, just getting information out there. Look, got to give a shout out to my man, Garrett Richardson, because, look, y'all can't see what's back there, but I see it. Look, I would have been confused. What about you?
It wouldn't be it wouldn't have came out.
So thank you to him, man. Love him. That's my brother from another. Coach, I love you too, man. And I'm proud to be right here. And thank you to the coaching staff, Coach Terrence Graves and everybody. Willie Scott for doing what he's doing to help us find this room, man. And Southern University, man, we love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We're going to keep doing this. Share this. You know, this is what this is about. This is our brand. This is our market. Why not do it ourselves? And so this is the Southern University pregame show. Today is the blue and gold. I'm calling it the scrimmage, but it's the blue and gold game. So Coach and I are going to go out and try to find us something to eat. So y'all take care. We see you at A.W. Mumford Stadium here in a minute. So thank you guys. Love y'all.